Hey everybody, it's Christa. Today I'm going to be talking with you guys about violence, and I have a story I wasn't going to share with you guys because it's really personal, and I still have really bad thoughts, and I have a really hard time dealing with this story of what happened to me. But with all the controversy surrounding Chris Brown and Rihanna, I thought this would be a good time to try to get the point across to people that violence is not okay, no matter if you're a big celebrity or a transsexual from Minnesota. It's just not okay no matter what the situation is. And I'm no longer in a violent situation, but several years past I was, and the guy that I was with was extremely violent. I mean, it was to the point where, it was like a constant struggle every day, wondering when the next time I was going to get beat up was, and when I was going to get, if it wasn't just physical, emotional, and, psychological stuff. I mean, being called names, being told, you can't wear makeup, you can't be who you are. But, in my situation, it was just so horrible. I mean, I couldn't even work because this guy was so possessive. And so he wouldn't work either, and so we became homeless because he didn't want me around anybody but him. And so I did this for 5 years because of who I am, thinking because I'm a transsexual I would never find another guy who loved me for who I was. And it's that mindset you get stuck in, it's absolutely crazy. And for people who haven't been in this situation, it's don't say, well, it bothers me when people are oh, it's they must like this because they go back to it, and, that really pisses me off. So, I mean, it's because we don't like it, it's just we don't know what to do. I mean, it took me a long time to get my mindset to say, you know what, I don't need this, I'm better. But, this guy almost killed me. I mean, I was saying, this is just a really hard and touching subject to me, and this is why I didn't want to share it, because I knew this is how this video was going to go. But, I was saying, he kept me, secluded from the world, and, I mean, we ended up homeless, and we lived basically outside of an abandoned house in a garage. There was, no cement floor in this garage. It was, dirt floor, and we would sleep in there with our sleeping bags on the ground. And it was a horrible situation. One night we came home, we had no vehicle, we were on the bus, and we came home that night and we were going to bed, and I thought everything was good that day. It went really good, I thought. So we get back and we're laying down, and the next thing he says to me is I saw you checking out that guy today. And I was what are you talking about? I wasn't checking out anybody. I was if I did, I might have glanced over in somebody's direction, but I definitely wasn't checking somebody out. Well, the next thing I know, I started getting punched, in the face, and, I woke up in the hospital 6 months later, out of a coma. And when I woke up, my head was, swollen as big as a basketball, and it was just, absolutely absurd. I mean, it's crazy. And I went to a shelter, and I stayed in that shelter for almost 6 months, and then they relocated me to South Dakota. And it was just really crazy because he ended up going to jail for it. And during that process of finding out that he was while he was in jail, I did a lot of research. The courts did a lot of research. Well, come to find out, he had murdered his ex-girlfriend, and he spent 24 years in prison for, I think it was second-degree manslaughter. And, I didn't know that about this person. When I first met him, it was so different. And, I just, I don't know, it was just crazy. But, yeah, I found out he was, in prison for manslaughter, and I still went back to him. And after that, we moved to Montana, and we were living in Montana. And we got in this huge fight, and I just left that night, and I was you know what, this is over. And But I knew in reality it wasn't going to be over because, I mean, it's like I loved him and I didn't think I was going to find anybody else. But I left and I went to my friend's house who was also a transgender girl. And we went out to the clubs and anyways, that night we went to this one bar and he was in there and he was like kissing all over a girl. And I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. So I started yelling him at the bar and my friend and I just like left. And my friend was a big, huge transsexual and so he didn't mess with us that night. But anyways, he would call me for like the next 5 days and I was so mad. And well, I found out he was in jail because during the time that we were separated, he ended up getting a drug charge. And that's when I really just clicked to me, I was like, I don't need this, I mean, I was like, my self-esteem during that little bit of time, finally, that I was away from him, I was like feeling so good about myself. And so I left, I went to a shelter, and once again they sent me back to South Dakota. And when I was in South Dakota, I got my life back together. I got an apartment. I was hanging out with Erica, which, if you guys have been watching my channel since the beginning, Eric and I had started a channel together. But I met Eric and we became like best friends in the world. And anyways, after I met Erica though, my house had burnt down and it was just like a really crazy situation. And then I found out he got out of jail. And when he got out of jail, he came to look for me. And it was really scary. So I asked Erica and this guy I was seeing, and I said, let's move, you guys. And like, I told them my situation, that I was really scared of this guy because he killed his last girlfriend and like he put me in a coma for 6 months. And like, there's so many other things that I'm not going to get into that he did to me. But I guess my point is, like, you guys, if you are in a relationship and this is going on with you, I mean, there's so many warning signs, get out while you can because it's not worth it. And, it's like, I go every year to the Transgender Day of Remembrance, and it's like, there's so many people that were so pretty and, like, didn't even know it because they've been brought down, like, so much. From people telling them they're not good enough and, like, the abuse, and it's like, get out while you can. And I'm gonna post, like, some links of some agencies that help trans people in battered situations. So yeah, I mean, if you guys have any problems or like need to just talk to somebody, if you like feel like you might be in a bad situation, please let me know, because I mean, I've been there and I'm like really want to help you. I mean, nobody deserves what happened to Rihanna or what happened to me. Nobody deserves it. So love you guys. Bye.